Welcome back, everyone. For today's video, it'll be centered around medicated heat patch. And it looks very simple and very straightforward, but there's actually a lot going on behind the scenes as soon as you open the wrapper. So let's get to it. So before we actually get to unwrapping the heat patch, there's something you need to know about it. So it's actually centered around two components that allow it to function and do its job of alleviating pain. The two classes of chemicals, or the two classes of ingredients that go into making it, are the ingredients that create the heat and the topical ingredients, which help to reduce swelling. So let's get into it. Before we elaborate on the heat ingredients, there's a concept that you need to be familiar with, and that's exothermic reactions. Exothermic reactions release heat. That's basically what they do at the most simple level. So if you're witnessing an exothermic reaction, say you're the surroundings of the reaction, and you see two ingredients that we're going to call the system react, the system will lose heat and release it into the surroundings, meaning that you're going to feel that heat or be able to witness that heat being released to where you're situated. So if I have a heat patch and I open this, the reaction will take place with the air surrounding me and the ingredients stored in this heat patch, and that's the system. And since I'm in the surroundings, the heat will be released from the system to the surroundings, meaning I'll be able to feel the heat from this heat patch, and that heat is going to be used to help alleviate my pain. So typically, the four most common ingredients you'll see in medicated heat patches that are responsible for bringing the heat will be iron powder, magnesium powder, sodium acetate, and or activated charcoal, like kind of like what you would see in a barbecue almost. But there will be at least one of these four ingredients in a heat patch, and these ingredients are going to be the ones that react with the oxygen in the air, and that's going to be responsible for your exothermic reaction, and that's going to be responsible for releasing the heat into the surroundings where you're at, so you can feel the heat and benefit from the heat patch. The second class of ingredients in heat patches are topical ingredients, and overall, topical ingredients are used to reduce inflammation in joints, tissues, muscles, to help alleviate pain. So that's what they bring to the table. And usually, as soon as a topical is applied to the skin, it'll kind of penetrate the skin and get right to work on trying to interact with the inflamed area of the body that's causing pain, and that's how it does it. So some of the more common ingredients under the topical class of heat patches include methyl salicylate, menthol, and capsaicin. And capsaicin is kind of a cool one because it's actually what is the chemical in chilies that make it hot. So kind of like some of the heat you get from this, some of the kick you get from this is the same kick that goes in chilies as well. So that's just like a cool little fact about it. And now it's time to test the product. So I'm going to be breaking down the medical patch layer by layer. So the top layer is the layer that's furthest from the skin, closest to the air, and the bottom layer is the anesthetic, which is close to the skin. So we'll start the top layer right here. Your top layer, or your top cover, is covered in spots which are supposed to be holes. So those are like they're just small holes scattered along the top, and what that is to allow air from the environment, outside environment, to go through the top cover and interact with the layer right underneath, which is the heat pad, which contains all of your chemicals, including your iron powder, your charcoal powder, your magnesium powder. All of that would be stored in the heat pad, so it's in direct contact with the air as soon as it enters through the holes. So just having it close by really allows for the most immediate heat flow and for the most concentrated heat flow to interact with the skin. Right underneath the heat pad is the skin adhesive, and the skin adhesive is the sticky feeling you get when you apply it on and when you take it off. That's what keeps the patch centered
firmly in one place so that it doesn't move around a lot, which allows for the most concentrated flow of topicals and heat into your skin. Following the adhesive is the sealable, and the sealable just exists to prevent like the heat patch from accidentally releasing its chemicals too early. So it just prevents the oxygen in the air from interacting with the chemicals in the heat patch before being opened. So it's just more of a cautionary layer that keeps it ready for use. The gauze underneath is kind of what is in a lot of bandages and other first aid components, where it's just used to dress wounds or to fit the bandage onto whatever you're applying it to. So it just ensures that the patch and the skin are interacting well and that there's good connection overall. And then finally you have your anesthetic layer, which is coincidentally right next to the skin, and that's where this is where all of your topicals are stored. So your menthol and your capsaicin are all stored in this anesthetic layer, and since it's directly on the skin, it just allows for the chemicals to most easily go into the skin and deal with any inflammations that might be in the layers of the skin. So it's a pretty strategic orientation of all the layers overall. So I hope you guys gain some insight into how this thing functions.
All right, so I'm gonna test this thing out on myself, which is not dangerous at all, but I'm gonna test it out, give it a shot on a part of my body that's been giving me a bit of ache recently, which is my lower back. So I'm gonna open this thing up, show you guys what it looks like, and then I'm gonna put it on my back and sit against the wall, and hopefully the heat helps dilate my blood vessels a little bit and help out my blood flow and hopefully make me feel a little bit better. So I'll open it right now. I need scissors. All right, so I'm gonna open this thing up and then put it on the region that hurts me the second most after my face, because my face hurts all the time from looking at it. Just kidding. So this is what it looks like. So it's a kind of like a sheet with uniform circles, very minty flavor, probably the menthol, I'm guessing, and it's actually sealed on one side, which I'm guessing is probably the side that it reacts with. So it smells like mouthwash. It's a very strong smell. I wish I could show you guys what it smells like, but I can't. So yeah, you just gotta peel it off, I guess. This thing is sticky, right? And then almost immediately when I'm opening this thing, put it on my back, apply it on my back now. So put it on right there. And almost immediately, as soon as I opened it, I pressed my back against the wall, but as soon as I opened it, it was a huge smell of mint. And as soon as I unwrapped the side that was sealed, I definitely got an even stronger taste of that mint smell. So I'll sit here for a little bit and check back with you guys in a couple of minutes to see how I progressed. All right, guys, so after doing the heat patch for a good 5 minutes, 5, 10 minutes, I did not feel too much in terms of pain alleviation. I didn't feel too much of a heat difference, so I think it was just that I bought a pretty cheap product and there wasn't too many ingredients that was in it. So maybe next time buy something that's a bit more deluxe in terms of the ingredients it has to offer, in terms of like uh, the heat, the heat starting ingredients as well as the topicals. So maybe that might be the solution. But the most significant thing that this patch just did was rip off some of my back hair, not really fix any of the pain. So I'll certainly look for something else in the future, but hope you guys enjoyed the video and stay tuned for what's coming next up sometime this week.